our souls to a place we can grow. As the stars shine bright, let your heart overflow. With Dr. Salo Stanley, we're finding our way through the currents of change in the light of today.
Welcome, fellow galactic travelers. This is Dr. Salo Stanley. Thank you for coming to Salo's Galactic Light podcast. I'm your host today, and I've been a chiropractor for 33 years. I'm also a sound therapist. I do design my own tuning forks at 136.10 hertz ohm that can be found on my Salo Galactic Light Art store on the internet. And I also do spiritual readings because I'm also a psychic and medium, and I had a spiritual awakening in 1992 on a crystal healing session, and life did not become the same. It rocked my world and awoken me to all different types of possibilities out in the universe today. Oh my goodness. So today's podcast has to do with CERN being shut down and also what our future is in store over the next 4 years in the universe. And so CERN is in Switzerland. It is a Hadron Collider where they try to study what happens when you collide atoms together and particles. And they were in the search of the God particle and the Higgs boson particle. And so in 2008, it actually booted up. And in fact, through my knowledge, when I used to listen to Art Bell in the 1990s, in 1998, I remember a program of them talking about John Titor. John Titor claimed to be a time traveler, and he came back in this time period because he was in the military in, I think, 2036 or so, and he had to come back in time to the 1970s to go get a Hewlett-Packard computer that had some special programming on it that they didn't have in the future that was very important for the military because they were doing a little bit of wars against AI. And so he came back, and when he was on his way back home, he decided to stop over in 1998 to see his family and his little, I don't know how old he was, 3-year-old self or so at the time. When his mother opened up the door, she automatically recognized him. It was just an amazing. And so he decided to stay for a couple years to see what would happen in Y2K. The first time he went into a supermarket, because they didn't have the same kind of foods or supermarkets in the future, he fell to his knees crying because he couldn't believe the amount of choices and things that they had for food. So imagine that in the universe, being a time traveler and coming back and seeing all those choices and creativity, which is so important in the universe. Well, which was really cool, I was so fascinated by his story when him and his mother wrote a book about it before he went back, right before Y2K, I'm not sure. They wrote a book, and I do have that book, John Titor's book, with his mother. There's only a certain amount of them published, and now just to get one is anywhere from $1,000 to $2,000. I mean, they're very collectible now. It just really sparked my imagination about the future timeline and things on the planet. But in that book, he predicted about CERN and creating time travel and portals in this time and AI. And a lot of his predictions came true, and some may have been in a different timeline and didn't come true. But I just find it so amazing. That's why I wanted to do this broadcast. So CERN actually discovered the Higgs boson particle in 2012. And so it found that every 4 years it has to close down its facility in order to change the magnets and do maintenance and everything. But every time they did that, time seemed to slow down and life was a little bit different. I mean, think about it. When they booted up the CERN in 2008, what happened? Well, we had the stock market crash, we had the real estate crash, and life became to be different. How different was it for you? Think about it. Oh my goodness. And in 2012, when they discovered that, I think they booted it up. They actually then closed it down from 2018 to 2022. They actually booted it up in 2022. So think about, how was life for you around 2022 to 2026 this summer. I mean, it seems like time got accelerated, didn't it? We had lots of anxiety. There was, some theories saying that a lot of time changes happened. Timelines overlapped. Time speeded up. The Mandela effect increased. And a lot of people during COVID began to also spiritually awaken to their own divinity. Now it's being shut off from June 30th until, I think, July of 2030. So we're going to have a respite, my guides say. We're going to have a little bit of slowdown of time and able to dream again, take a deep breath, make our dreams come true, and we are at the precipice of time where we have never seen in history, where we can use our secret weapon. Our secret weapon is the aligned intuition. That is our superpower. And we can bend reality and be those creative people that we are now. Now, there was a wonderful book written by a time traveler, another time traveler that came back, and now he actually went back to his timeline. And it's called The Simulation by Silas Orvin. You can find it on the internet. It's an interesting read about how his future was. When AI came online, people lost interest in going outside. When the geoengineering of the clouds, seeding, and things, the sun started to go away, people spent more time indoors, being on video games, and everything was done for them, that their eyes to light began to change, and a lot of people spend a lot of time on simulation. And there was a doorway or a portal at that time when they started going in that direction where they could no longer manipulate creativity and our reality through our consciousness. Those little doorways got slammed down. And they lost their immunity in a way because they didn't get to go outside. They just thought it was a myth that there was sunlight and it was vitamin D and nature, and that the animals now all had to be cloned, and that the natural rhythms of the planet Earth changed. And so Silas decided to come back in this time period to warn us in his book, In the Hidden Simulation, about how we can change this now. He was so elated to come that the colors were so much brighter and the sky was blue. And yes, there's geoengineering going on and all this, but he's there to warn humanity, not in a fear, but an alternate timeline that we can create to be creative beings of light. I thought it was just a fascinating story because I know I slept better after the 30th of June. I felt as if time was coming down. I had less anxiety. I feel more creative right now. And the more of us that come together right now, oh my goodness, we can change this portal of window that is so important, because I am a seeker of the future. I am a seeker because I think of myself as a time traveler, because I had a walk-in experience in 1992. You can look it on the internet. It could just be another higher self-download of my future self, living 20,000 years in the future, being downloaded now. I have a remembrance of a lifetime being on a spaceship, an energetic spaceship that can manipulate time and space, and we collect knowledge and information, and that's why I'm here. And I love dispensing my podcast to disseminate this future information to you now in an exciting manner. So how cool is that? You know, in The Hidden Simulation, Silas presents that story, describes himself as a time traveler, and he suggests that humanity is living through an extraordinary window of time right now, a rare period when our collective imagination and intention and conscious choices have an unusually powerful influence on the direction of our future. Don't you think that is important? Don't you think it's important to have our freedom? Sometimes freedom over comfort is important. In his time period, Silas said that there was a few renegades that decided not to have the chip and not to have extended lifetimes be long and whatever. They wanted to get old, live in their own community, kind of like the van lifers do right now, have their freedom and die naturally and be in nature. and see the sun. In fact, the only two places on the planet that had the sun still was in Saudi Arabia and Australia, and they would save up their ways and means of trying to make it to those two places because the sun was so important. Something we take for granted, and forests and greenery, because when there's no sun, no plants or trees grow on their timeline. So how beautiful is that? To know how blessed we are in this time period, instead of complaining and thinking that this is being a terrible world. We're having breakdown through our government and sort of things like that. Breakthroughs are happening. We are in this precipice, a time that's the most exciting time to be here. And so the message is like, don't wait, people. Create now. Dream now. It's one of the last periods that we can manipulate reality with our consciousness. So dream now. Create now. Heal now. Love now. Silas always said that, humanity is at a crossroads right now to warn us, and that the next years really represent an opening, a period when old structures are becoming less rigid and new possibilities are still forming. It is a time when each person's inner world matters, because our choices ripple outward into the world we collectively create. We collectively create. And from this, with the shutting down of CERN and what they're trying to do, the symbolic perspective, CERN's curtain shutdown becomes an interesting metaphor. Scientifically, CERN is simply undergoing scheduled maintenance and upgrades, but spiritually, however, what if we chose to see this pause as humanity taking a deep breath? That's what my guides say. What if we're taking this pause as humanity to take a deep breath? A pause between chapters. A pause in which we remember that the greatest portal has never, ever been a machine. The greatest portal has always been in our consciousness, our mass consciousness, our unity consciousness, knowing that we are all one of the many fractals that we are. Right now, many people have spoken about feeling as though reality is becoming increasingly fluid over the past decade, and as if timelines are moving rapidly and multiplying, and that life is asking each of us to choose more consciously. The Mandela effect has been exponential the last 4 years. Oh my God. And remember that those feelings arise from, that sense. It could arise from, psychology or technology or rapid social change, but really, you are the reality that creates. You are really the creator right now. And perhaps that the matrix that we're on is really not a prison with walls that we have. And the way out is really through our consciousness and our inherited beliefs. Falling by the wayside is our way out. And fear, leaving fear behind and division behind, that's our way out. The feeling that our lives are controlled externally by forces outside ourselves is no longer true. And it just requires us waking up to the true divinity of who we are in this simulation that we are right now. We are powerful divine beings of light, and with our consciousness, we are magic. We can bend reality right now in this precipice of time that we have never ever seen. So many people are waking up. We have the power to do that. And in the future, off of Silas's timeline, that doesn't exist. How blessed are we right now? Silas Orphan's story invites us to imagine that every loving thought, every creative act, every courageous decision, and every moment of forgiveness is more than a private experience. It is part of shaping the future of our reality. That future is literally bent right now, manipulated, bent by our consciousness. It is our transformation that is bending it. It is our way of looking and being open to new realities and new thoughts and new beliefs. That's how we're changing the world, through the clarity of our example. And then it becomes a positive virus with the next neighbor and your friends and family, realizing that they are the true divinity. They are the God particle. We all are the God particle. We all are the Higgs-Boson particle. We are all one. And CERN is showing this now. We're taking that pause in order to catch up to ourselves, to think clearly, to be the most creative beings that we can be over the next 4 years. And that positivity within ourselves is so important. So be a conscious creator. Be a conscious creator. I believe each of us possesses what I call our own organic AI. What the heck does that mean? Not artificial intelligence, but what I call aligned intuition. An intelligence that existed long before computers. It speaks through inspiration, creativity, synchronicity, stillness, mindfulness, compassion, that own inner knowing. It's like wisdom without the experience that comes to the forefront. And the more that we quiet the noise, the more that we're in nature, the more we're in the sun, the more clearly we can hear it. Oh my goodness, I get people asking me, Salo, how can I connect to my guides and angels? How can I hear them better, see them, feel them, get them, know them, connection? It's simple. Go inward, be mindful, and go out in the sun, in the park. I can guarantee you, no ifs, ands, and buts about it, you will connect. It's simple. It's Salo's method. The KISS. Keep it simple, spiritual. Everything else are tools or permission slips. As Bashar says, it doesn't have to be so complicated. Perhaps our greatest superpower is not predicting the future. Perhaps it's participating in its creation now. Can you imagine millions of people remembering that their thoughts influence their actions, and that their actions influence their communities, and their communities influence civilizations? Oh my goodness. And imagine artists creating beauty instead of fear. Teachers awakening curiosity instead of conformity. Farmers saying, no more government. I am going to be a self-empowered being of light and do my thing and be that bucking bronco, and farmers restoring the soil. Scientists guided by wisdom. Oh my goodness. The blending about science and spirituality, how cool is that? Governments earning trust through transparency. I love watching Long Island Audit by having transparency in the government. It's a good watch. It's on YouTube. Neighbors becoming friends again. Children growing up knowing that they are creative beings rather than passive observers playing video games. Maybe this is the inner revolution humanity has been waiting for, where no one fought with weapons, but one lived through awareness, awakeness, and mindfulness, through responsibility, living through imagination and creativity, and through divine love, unconditional love. If there is truly a window of extraordinary possibilities before us right now, with these 4 years of CERN being turned off for us to do our dreaming, our breathing, our creativity on how we want our lives to look and our community to look, instead of looking what's on the news or watching scrolling through TikTok, and us taking our self-empowerment back through imagination, creativity, our own divine love, connecting our heart with our mind, and having a balance of what we call heart coherence is the beautiful portal we are opening up within ourselves right now. We are the magician in the tarot deck. We have all the elements before us right now, where those elements in the future that Silas talks about. No plants, no water, no air, no sun. Just an inside sterile cloning facility of video games and visual realities. Oh my goodness, that is not the way I know that I have come back as a star being from the future to help give this warning. Not a warning of scarcity or being scared of, but a reminder. The warning is you are already a divine being of light, awaken to who you are. Take that trip you want. Start that tiny home community. Find others of like mind. If you get 150 people together, you can start your own town. Look at what the rules and regulations are. Find the loopholes and watch the magic happen. Be in small communities and pods. Grow your own food. Don't complain about how bad the supermarket is. Do something. Come together in community. That is what it's about. Perhaps the real question is this: if you really believed your consciousness mattered. Does your consciousness matter? I know mine does. I love thinking of magic. I love being Harry Potter. I love being the magician. If you believed your imagination is one of the creative forces of the universe, do you? I know I do. And if you believe that the future is not fixed, I don't think it is fixed. I don't want a reality where a portal closes and everything is fixed and imagination and artists and musicians and dancers can't dance, and you can't go hiking out in nature, and you can't touch a tree, and you live in a virtual reality. That's not the way I want to go. How would you live life differently now that you know this information that I'm giving you? How would you live differently now? This is an important podcast. Do you want to be the life you want to see? Do you want to be, through the clarity of your example, to change the world? Be the change that's within you. How would you start living differently now? Because whenever you see these ideas as spiritual truth or symbolic storytelling, if you want, you don't have to believe me that I'm a time traveler too in some way. I think all of us are really ETs and human bodies with our consciousness. Or if you want to just simply, this is just an invitation to think more deeply in this podcast, then so be it. But remember, in each moment with our mindfulness and our creativity, the future is always being written every moment. And that each one of us is holding a pen, writing our story, being our own authority or the authorship of our life. How do you want your life to look now? Create. Be joyful. Spend time with your family, your children, your pets. Go walking in the park. It's free. Go on that trip you want to do. Change that job if you're unhappy. That helps you get off the matrix. Move to the place that you've always wanted to move to. Don't be scared. Take that train trip that you've always wanted to do. Paint that picture you always wanted to do. You have it within you. Don't think, oh, I'm not good enough. Just do it. Take action. Create. Write. Dance. Listen to music. Play music. Create music. We all have the sounding note of our soul. We all have a musical note. And we are finding our musical group or our tribe right now. We do have a tribe, a frequency that we are meeting over the next 4 years. So please, have courage. Wake up. Be yourself. Speak your truth, and it's nothing wrong with swearing. If you get angry, get angry. It's important for your health and well-being. You can still be spiritual and swear too, my guides say. in the universe. And if you'd like to have a spiritual reading with me, go to salostanleypsychic.com. Scroll down the homepage. There's a contact form. Fill it out, and we will get you going. I do an hour reading going over what your numerology is, your life path number, your astrology chart, and what your spiritual purpose is through your North Node. And we talk about your past lifetimes. But also, I do sessions talking on any subject you want. If you have a decision to make about moving, a new job, trying to find clarity, connecting to your guides and angels, or if you like to have a tarot reading with me and pull cards or oracle cards, or just shoot the breeze to have someone listen to you that doesn't think you're crazy. If you're walk-in or an ET or you're just a starseed waking up, I'm here for you guys. Just go to salostanleypsychic.com. If you'd like to have my tuning forks, 136.10 hertz, the ohm frequency. They're made in Europe. They're sturdy like a German Mercedes. They're found on Salo Galactic Light Art. You can Google it, and they're well worth it. You can do one tuning fork to help awaken your spirituality through putting it on certain points that I have. I send a video with certain points that you can place on your body. And along with that tuning fork, or if you are a sound therapist or an acupuncturist for your clients that don't like needles, there's a pair that you can do. And I also give a 17-minute session video link to YouTube so you can watch a session. And I'm also here to answer any questions that you have in the universe, no matter what is going on in your life. I am here for you. So we're going to send out with some music from my Salo Galactic Light podcast. Please follow me on Facebook and TikTok and Instagram. I'm under there as Salo Stanley or Dr. Salo Stanley. And may you have the best day ever. And we're going to say namaste.
Together we rise, collective embrace, embodying kindness. We shift into grace with gratitude deep. We'll weave through the fray, finding better perspectives to light up the way. In the glow of our hearts, we'll uplift and ignite. With love as our compass, we're shining so bright. Open to awareness, inviting the sound of a high